Hello everyone, I'm Geek Freak and welcome to the video. Let me ask you guys something. Let's just say for example that you're in your 30s or 40s or maybe you're younger or whatever, and there was like a certain show or a certain commercial or a certain book that you're looking for, or maybe it's a certain game that you used to watch or play or read when you was younger. Let's just say for example that you was looking for a certain book. For example, I am in love with the series Monster, and this anime is fan-freaking-tastic. I've got the anime and I've got the manga. But not only that, there's also a novel called Another Monster, which is supposedly a sequel to the series Monster. And there's also a picture book called The Nameless Monster. And The Nameless Monster is sort of like a picture book that's within the series Monster, but you can physically get it for your collection. Now the thing is, I am a huge fan of the series Monster. And again, I've got the anime and I've got the manga, but I don't have The Nameless Monster or Another Monster. They haven't been released in English, or they haven't been licensed. It was only the anime and the manga. And by the time of this videos came out, I do believe that the series Monster on DVD is out of print. And one day, the manga of Monster will also be discontinued. I'm not saying it's going to be soon, I'm just saying one day it will. And also, just to let you guys know, I did make a video about series that didn't get released or licensed outside of Japan. So if you guys want to go and check that video out, please do. But in this video, it's not about how some books and anime and games weren't released or licensed outside of the native country, but I'm going to be talking about all media that will eventually be lost or forgotten. Okay, just the other day, I was thinking about the novel Another Monster, that's part of the series Monster. And not only that, I was also thinking about Doctor Who. You know, the series Doctor Who? Yeah, I jumped from an anime to a live-action sci-fi series. Now, what are the connection that these two series have, or media has? Well, like I said earlier, the anime of Monster is out of print, and the only way you're going to watch Monster is if you watch it on YouTube. And again, you can read the manga, or get the manga, because it's still licensed, but eventually that license is going to run out, and eventually you're not going to be able to get a copy of the series. Now, let's scooch over back to Doctor Who. Doctor Who is one of the most oldest and well-known sci-fi series in the world. But saying that, there are loads of episodes of Doctor Who that are lost forever to time because the original episode was either destroyed or they taped over the reel just to save up on money or something like that. And yes, there are episodes of Doctor Who that are either lost forever or a few of the episodes are out there but they just can't find them. If you was to look on the Doctor Who wiki, it will tell you guys which episodes are missing. Or, here's another example. There's this series called The 100 Greatest Series made by Channel 4, and they stopped this series in the year 2015. And in this series, it's basically a series about countdowns of certain movies, series, or events that happened, or documentaries, etc, etc. Like for example, the 100 Greatest Scariest Moments that was ever shown on TV, the 100 Greatest Funniest Moments, 50 Greatest Documentaries, 100 Greatest Saddest Moments, 100 Greatest Christmas Moments. There are loads of these episodes that I'm still looking for, even though I've got a few of them. I made a video saying what I'm looking for and which ones I've got, you know, that sort of stuff. But I'm still looking for the other episodes to this series. Hell, I even wrote into Channel 4 asking them if they could re-release the whole series of the 100 Greatest Moments, but they wouldn't do that. So I've been going around asking people if they have a copy of the episodes of the 100 Greatest, and so far I'm doing pretty well on finding some of them, but I'm still looking for the majority of them though. And it isn't just that, but there's also games as well. Some time ago I made a video called, you know what ticks me off? Why doesn't the PlayStation Store have all the PlayStation games? Now here's the thing, you would have thought that Sony would have every single game that they've ever had on their console would be on the PlayStation Store. PlayStation 1s, 2s, 3s, 4, and not just those games, but the portable PSP games and other PlayStation games for the portables or the console that I'm not aware of. I mean seriously, you would have thought that they would have had every single game that they've ever made or that was put onto their console onto the PlayStation Store so other people or the younger generation can try out all these old games like Final Fantasy, Hogs of War. And yes, I know some of these games, well, most of these games don't have the best graphics, but most of these games are really fun. The PS1s, 2s, 3s, you guys get, you know what I'm talking about. But The PlayStation doesn't have that. And it isn't just the PlayStation games, but there's the Xbox games and other consoles that have been discontinued. Like, for example, the Sega Genesis. Actually, you know what? If you guys go and check out on Wikipedia, you will see how many consoles have been discontinued. And I'm telling you guys, there are a lot of game consoles, believe it or not. And they had loads of games. But here's the thing. Where do we go to find these games or consoles? If we was to ever say, you know what, I want to go and check out these old games and see what they were all about. And I'm sure like the majority of them isn't going to be that good because they're old, but there could be a few games on there, on those old consoles that you might like, or just see as passable. Either the majority of these games have either been lost forever, or you can find them online. And the same can be said for books as well. There are loads and loads of books in the world. There's books, novels, comics, manga, from stories to how to cookbooks. Well, not to cookbooks, but you know what I'm trying to say. To picture books, and all sorts of books from all over the world, from different countries. And over time, books go out of print, or you can't find them, or they go censored because of the PC culture that we're in. I mean, seriously, there are like millions upon millions upon millions upon millions upon millions of books in this world, and still being made to this day. But someday, these books are going to be forgotten, or be destroyed, or be discontinued. And speaking of discontinued, there's also series of movies. Well, you know those old Disney cartoons where at the World War II stereotypes of the Japanese and the Germans? And, well, mostly stereotypes of the past. You know, with Popeye, Disney, you know, etc, etc. And there's also Songs of the South. I believe they've also discontinued that. I mean, yeah, sure, don't get me wrong. There are movies and series that are a product of the times, where it wasn't seen as offensive. But to tell you the truth, I do love these cartoons and old movies that have controversial stuff in them. And there are also movies and series that nobody has ever heard before. Well, I mean, the vast majority of people that hasn't heard of movies and series before. There are plenty of movies and series that people haven't heard before. So you guys get what I'm trying to say. There are media that disappears, or is forgotten about, or is discontinued. But it's not only that. What if I was to tell you guys that the studio who makes these movies and series, and not just movies and series, but commercials, ads, and so on, actually burned the original reels? Yeah, they actually burned the original reels. Now some people will say that, oh, they just put them on a computer, USB sticks, etc, etc. Now listen, I don't know how reels work. I'm not sure if they're needed to make them into DVDs or whatever. But the thing is, if let's just say for example that whatever's on these reels, they are the only copies in existence. They're not on any computers or USB sticks or anything like that. And it could be of a movie or a series or an ad or whatever. These studios just up and burn them. And if you guys don't believe me, look at it for yourself. This is what these studios do. And you know what? This got me thinking. Instead of trying to burn these reels or deleting this media, why not put all these reels of these old ads and series or movies or whatever onto the internet? So that way, these ads, movies or series or whatever won't be lost forever. And everybody and anybody can watch them. And also, it's not just people intentionally destroying these things, but there are reels and USB sticks and whatever that has media on them. And over time, these reels and USB sticks and so on will wear and tear over time or be put into bad storage, and they will decay over time. Like for example, the series Pipkins. Now the series Pipkins is a 70s show, and there has been 333 episodes. But again, thanks to poor storage, only 135 have survived. The episodes, I mean. And also, you know Jim Henson? You know those commercials? You know, the one that the Nostalgia Critic showed us? The Wilkins Coffee commercials? If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, go and look up Wilkins Coffee commercials. These Wilkins Coffee commercials are really fun. And these guys do all sorts of commercials. Like commercials for bread, coffee, you know, that sort of stuff. But sadly, some of the commercials that they've made with these two characters are still missing. And you know what? I wouldn't mind watching these missing Wilkins commercials. That's if we can find them, or they're not destroyed by the owners. And not only that, there has been a lot of videos on YouTube that I really love that has been taken down, and I can't find them anywhere on the internet. I mean, yeah, making videos on YouTube is one thing, but media like books, movies, series, games, etc. is another thing. But come on, there are loads, and I mean loads of videos that are taken down every single day, and you will never ever see them again. Like for example, Actually Happened. There was a few stories on that channel that I really did like, and sadly, most of them are gone. I mean, yeah, you can find a few of their videos, but the ones I'm looking for, I can't find them. Anyways, the point is, I don't understand why these studios, these companies who release books, manga, comics, etc., would want to destroy all these games, movies, series, etc, 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 when they can just put them online. So at least that way, the old world can read them, or watch them, or play them, instead of wanting to destroy them, or just keep them locked up forever. And I'm sure you guys have a game, or a book, or a series, or whatever, out there somewhere that you want to watch, or read, or play again. I mean, seriously, there are movies that are decades old and almost forgotten, but these studios don't want people to watch them. I mean, come on. And the same thing can be said for games. I mean, come on. There are loads and loads of old games out there that I would like to play, but they refuse to re-release them, or at the very least, sell them on the Sony PlayStation Store or the Xbox Store or whatever. Because I'll tell you guys something now, I would pay money to play the old games again. And also, what about books and manga and comics? I mean, you're not allowed to read them online, even though these books are decades old. And you know what? If you ask me, I think that they should release old books that no one reads anymore online. So at the very least, these old books won't be forgotten. And when it comes to old movies, series and old commercials and stuff like that, instead of these studios wanting to burn these old movies, series and commercials, they should release them on the internet. I mean, come on, it's such a shame that studios have to do this. Somebody should start a petition or something for these studios to release them on the internet if they're going to destroy them. Again, studios actually do this. I mean, believe it or not, years and years and years ago, somewhere around, I don't know, about like the 60s or 50s or something. I'm not really sure about the decade, but years ago, when people did do movies, after when the movie was watched, the creators would just burn them or reuse the reels. And this is why we need to preserve media. We need to keep the originals intact and very easy accessible to the public. Now listen, I'm not talking about series, games and movies and so on that keeps on raking in money for these companies, like the old or the new stuff. I'm talking about the old stuff that doesn't bring in any money, or people just forgot about them, or doesn't make money for any of these companies or studios. I mean, seriously, why don't they ever do that? If they're not going to sell them, or re-release them, and they're just going to destroy them later on, or put them in storage somewhere, and will eventually decay over time, then at the very least, they should just release it on the internet. Or, hey, here's an idea. If there was people looking for books or games or movies or series or whatever, they should go to these studios or these companies and say, listen, I'm looking for this certain series, or I'm looking for this certain book, or I'm looking for this certain game that you sold long ago, but you refuse to re-release it in masses. So why don't you create a copy just for me on physical media? You know, like books, DVDs, CDs, etc, etc. So yeah, that's one of two things that they could do. Number one, upload it to the internet so everybody can see it, play it or read it. Or they can tell people what games, books, movies, series, etc, etc they have, and they can personally make a copy just for you to buy from them. I mean, come on, there's bound to be a few collectors out there that will gladly buy these medias from these companies and studios and so on. Again, I'm looking for media that's been lost or I can't find, and instead of these companies just locking them away or burning them or destroying them, at the very least they could do is just upload them to the internet or sell them individually to people instead of en masse. This is something that we need to think about. And yes, listen, I understand that not everything is going to last forever, but it's our responsibility to keep all these old books, games, movies and series and so on alive. There are loads of old films and games and so on out there that I've gotten into and I really do love them. Like for example, Quartermaster Pit. And even though this series is in black and white, it's a fantastic series and I highly recommend you guys go and check it out. And only because it's old doesn't mean it's bad. So what do you guys think? Am I right? Am I wrong? Should old books, games and movies and series should be uploaded to the internet for everyone to see? Should these companies and studios stop burning and destroying old media? Please let me know in the comment section below and let's get the discussion going. I'm Geek Freak. Peace out. Thank you guys for watching. And if there's a series you want me to check out and review and give my thoughts on it, or if there's a top 10 list you want me to do, or any reactions, or responses, or rants on anything geeky, just leave links and comments in the comment sections below, and I'll get to them as soon as I can. Don't forget to like, subscribe, put the bell on, share this video, and leave a comment in the comment sections below. And as for my social medias, I'm literally freaking everywhere! I'm on most video platforms, social medias, forums, and support sites. It's best to pause the video and see where I am. Literally all this is down in the description box below. So if you want to go and check those out, please do. I'm Geek Freak. Peace out.